What is the number one thing that is most important to maintaining health? That's the question I want to answer today. And it's a question that I receive from patients, from people I interact with, from family members all the time. You know, they say, hey, Dr. B, quick thing, if you could recommend one tool, one thing, one change that I can implement to be the healthiest that I can be, what would that be? Is it a detox? Is it a change of diet? Is it a supplement? Is it a new sexy vitamin out there that I'm unaware of? So I want to answer that question. What's the number one thing? And really dive into that today. So really, my number one thing is more of a skill and a mindset overall. The number one mindset, skill to develop to build and maintain health is actually taking charge of your health, being in charge of your health. And what does being in charge mean? So really the definition of being in charge is taking responsibility for and being in control of, right? Those two things are essentially what make up being in charge. And when you're not in charge, then who is? Someone else is in the driver's seat, and if it's not you, who is it, right? If you are, in a place of crisis, if you do have a significant challenge, I highly encourage you to seek out expert advice. I mean, that there's so many people out there that have such expertise and in so many areas, and the resources are very, very, very accessible. So seek it out. But my word of caution is just don't place that person, that expert, that on a pedestal, or as list them as your guru, because really they're providing you with knowledge of information that they have to then have you take that in and assimilate it, make it a part of you. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Some experts programs don't work for everyone because they just aren't what you need at that time. It's not because that expert doesn't, have the answers. It's just because the answer isn't for you. So keep searching and look for what is best for you, right? And again, my word of caution is just to not establish that expert as the guru, because when you start to create the habit of relying on experts for answers, then you shy away from cultivating your own inner expert, right? And you have that. And it needs to be cultivated and taken care of, and you need to investigate and continue to contribute to that. So another reason for that is with experts and with expert advice, it changes often. And I know you all know about this. Consider where diets have been and where they are now. Dietary recommendations are significantly changed, and as are fitness or exercise recommendations. From decade to decade, those vary. Supplements vary. What is the new great sexy thing that you can do to solve all your problems? And also medications change. There are new and improved. As of now, it almost seems like medications, the more that you're on, the better. That's the evolution of that. But all of this exists because in the medical arena, or the medical field, there's a constant evolution of information. This is all research and development based, which is fantastic, but it leaves consumers feeling overwhelmed, almost paralyzed. What do I do next? There's so much information out there, and you just keep gobbling it up and then become paralyzed out of fear of what to do next. So know that there's trends of information, and then take all things with a grain of salt and make it work for you, right? And determining what works for you, it requires involvement, it requires engagement, investigation, and it requires all of that to then figure out, again, when you apply something that doesn't work, set it aside. When you apply something it does, embrace it. And some will have opinions on that, but you have to know what's right for you. You have to start trusting the inner expert, right? Okay, so all people that live healthy lives, and this is including people I work with, high performing individuals, myself included in this, but I've realized the theme that all people that are healthy and live healthy lives, consistently healthy lives, what do? So first and foremost, they put themselves as priority, right? They know that they need to be on their A game to be able to deliver what they are to the world, right? And they also take responsibility for the outcomes of the results in their lives. And I'm talking on, multiple levels, but for here, a health basis. So whatever result they're having, they take responsibility for that, right? They are involved. They are engaged in health decisions. They're not just sitting back and saying, "Doc, what do I do? Fix me." They're saying, "Okay, give me an understanding of why this is happening and what we can do to really make a shift, and then go from there." Right? So they're involved. They're engaged. They're curious. They're hungry for improvements and for answers and for learning and developing that inner expert. They're passionate about that. And then overall, what they experience, the interactions that they have, the challenges they faced, they adjust, right? They change course. They adapt to their environment, because being able to adapt allows you to thrive, right? I mean, our lives are different now than they were a month ago, than they were 5 years ago, than they will be in 5 years, 10 years to come, hopefully, right? So adapting is huge. And our ability to adapt requires just really self-knowing, and then being involved, right? And that will ultimately lead to the longevity that you're looking for, the self-sustainability, the self-reliance, that self-health that we talk about, okay? So how do we start down a path if we're not feeling like we're in charge right now? Then how do you start that? So what I talk about a lot is it's all in the questions we ask ourselves, right? When we're faced with adversity, how do we respond? Do we start to ask ourselves, why me? Why is this happening again? Oh no, this terrible thing is happening. Why me? Or what's wrong with me? Am I broken? What's going on? What's wrong with whatever I'm doomed to be a part of? Or also, who's to blame? Seeking out blame, be it your parents, what you inherited, your genes, the government, the FDA, the food industry. Who's to blame for this that's happening to me? These questions ultimately, immediately, just give away your power. It gives away your power, and it leads you to more victimization, more helplessness and hopelessness, essentially, right? So the 3 questions that I actually encourage you to ask yourself, and what I do with myself, is, first and foremost, faced with adversity, faced with a disease, faced with a symptom, my first question is, what is this situation trying to tell me? Or another way of saying that is, how does this serve me? Okay, so one example that comes to mind is, consider an acute injury. I work with athletes, and they sprain their ankle, or they twist their knee, or they have some setback of an injury. First coming in frustrated, this is going to set me back. Why is this happening to me? Instead, I say, okay, let's just start from a different place. How could this be serving you? Maybe this is telling you that you need to take a break. You need to pull back on the training and allow for yourself to give other areas of your life a little more attention. Maybe you just need to rest. Maybe you need to pump the brakes and take a bit of time. So that's a very small example, but one that can shift you out of frustration, anger, feeling victimized, to, all right, hey, I hear you, universe. What's going on? How is this serving me, right? So second question is, how am I contributing to this? What am I doing to contribute to this situation, this symptom, this experience, right? So what that can look like is an acute symptom. For example, clients come in, let's use one of a woman I recently worked with who had migraine headaches all of a sudden resurface again. And the thought is, these have been gone for years. Why all of a sudden are these coming back? So what could she be contributing in her life to what could she be doing to contribute to this manifesting again? Is it stress levels? Is it hydration? Is it diet? Is it whatever? But it shifts you into investigation mode. What am I doing that is causing this, versus, make it go away. How do I make it go away? Right? So taking responsibility for what's going on. And then lastly, how can I respond to allow this to make me better? Okay, so this is all about just starting to think in ways that shift you into knowing that every ailment has an underlying root cause, right? And that there's a reason behind all this, and you just need to uncover it. So really making small changes will allow for that. Making the small changes toward knowing that this experience will allow for you to be better, and then taking that and just continue to apply it for the rest of your life. Know that this symptom is an opportunity for you to be better, okay? So asking these questions shifts you into a mode of seeing the challenge, of seeing the symptom, etc., as an opportunity. And that's empowering, right? That's providing yourself with the tools for self-reliance and self-sustainability. And overall, health is something that is maintained, right? It's not something that's achieved and then you put the plaque up on your wall and you say, check mark, done. It's something that requires work every day and requires effort every day. And asking yourself these 3 questions, so let's revisit those. First and foremost, how is this experience, this symptom serving me? What is it trying to tell me? Second question, what am I doing to contribute to this in the first place? And then third question, how can I respond to allow for this to make me better? Those are the questions that I tell people that will allow for the greatest amount of success in your health journey. So I challenge you, next time you have even the slightest of symptoms come up, aches and pains, etc., run through those 3 questions, see how it shifts your mindset, and see how the result changes over time. So thanks for listening, and if you like what you hear, please comment below. I'd love to hear if there's any experience with this type of mindset. If you have any questions, please comment below. Subscribe to our channel, check us out on social media, and we will talk again soon. Thanks.